And it's for live. Oh. Welcome everyone to committee meetings for Monday, August 12th. The two committee meetings tonight. We'll start off with County Services Committee.
Okay, 6:01, open up County Services Committee. We have 3 action items, but for our entertainment and education, we have Nicole Maggio and Maria Dureco.
All right, I don't know how entertaining this is going to be, but we'll give it a go. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak with you guys tonight. I'm Nicole Maggio. I'm the Human Resources Director. Next to me is Maria Dureco. She's our Employee Benefits Manager. I'm just going to give you a brief update on kind of the last year in HR and civil service, and there's been a lot going on. So last year, we were a staff of 4. This year, we are a staff of 6. We have 5 full-time employees and 1 part-time employee. And once you hear everything that we have going on, you'll understand why we needed to be fully staffed. And I am very, very relieved that we finally are. We have 590 active employees right now. That includes full-time, part-time, elected, and per diems. And we have approximately 520 retirees. We have been doing a lot of posting and advertising, and that is to deal with our recruitment issues and our retention issues. We are doing our posting and advertising mostly free. We have had to do a few paid advertisings to get some of our harder to fill higher level titles. We've done a number of different personnel changes, including 78 new hires, 50 changes in title for existing employees. We've processed 50 resignations, 15 retirements, 11 terminations, and unfortunately 1 death. We have been participating in outreach activities, including within school districts, Columbia Greene, Capital Region virtual career fairs, where we actually have a staff member who's in our office but is communicating with people virtually. And the nice thing about that is they submit their resumes online, and then we can seek them out for jobs that we're looking for. So that's been a great addition to our outreach. In addition to that, we just participated in the Greene County Youth Fair again, which is always very informative. We get a lot of feedback from people, and we give out a lot of information. I'm not going to lie, they come to the table because we have some great swag like bags and sunglasses. But once we get them to the table, it's a great opportunity for us to talk to them. And a lot of times we'll talk to people who then say, oh, you know what, I have a friend, I'm going to send them over. And they do. So that's been a great outreach tool for us as well. And some of the other events that we've done are the annual event for veterans at the Catskill Point. That one is not a huge outreach, but we're targeting a specific audience when we're doing that. In addition to that, we were very busy with labor relations this year, as you guys well know, because you ratified the contracts. All of our contracts are now current. CSEA and CSEA 7002 have been ratified through 2027. Teamsters has been ratified through 2026. AFSCME, deputies, corrections, and UPSEU all will be coming up for ratification again at the end of 2025. But for this year, we have all of our contracts up to date. In addition to all of that, our office handles the mandatory sexual harassment and workplace violence trainings, which have been going out virtually. So we have our employees, instead of having to pull them out of their departments, they can do it at their desk on some of their downtime. And we have like a 94% completion rate. So this year we're aiming for 100%. And now that my staff my office is fully staffed, I have somebody on this who's really, really aggressive about finish their training. In addition to that, I am the Americans with Disability Act co-coordinator with the county attorney. So we've been handling a few different issues with regard to the ADA. And with that, that's about our HR update. I'm gonna update you on civil service, and that is where I'm gonna update you guys on the health program, which I know is something we talked a lot about last year when I was here. I'm gonna give you an update on where we are and where it looks to be going moving forward. But I'm gonna have Maria update you first on our benefits and a new software program that our department's gonna be using.
Can I ask you a few questions first? The first one is, how many openings are in the county that are not filled right now?
Currently, we have about a 10% vacancy.
Which is how many?
I'm gonna say
50? And what's the turnaround? You say some people come and stay. What's the average lifespan of an employee? Do they come for a
depends on
year?
the position. That's truly, so positions in DSS, the lifespan is a lot less than positions in the treasurer's office.
Or legislature, but entirely skewing that number.
You ruined the curve.
Let's say like the highway department. Do they come for a year, 2 years? Do they make it 10 years?
So again, it depends. Your newer employees that are coming in, I'm gonna say that they have a quicker turnaround time. We are competing with the private sector, and I'm gonna be straight up with you, our pay rates don't come close to what the private sector is. However, our highway department also has some of our longest tenured employees. So again, it depends on the position that you're looking at and when they were hired.
Okay.
That holds true in corrections as well. High turnover for new hires in corrections, but we also have some very tenured employees there. It really just depends.
So my main concern would be the new employees, only because if you have an employee that's already been with us for, say, 20 years, the job that they got 20 years ago was up here. Now, I'm not so sure it's still up here which is a follow-up with my next question. How competitive are the salaries in all our departments? Are they like far below? Are they mediocre?
So again, it depends on what you're comparing them to, okay? Our DSS department, we're losing people to the state. Our rates are lower than the state. The other thing about the state is that they offer a hybrid work schedule. So some of those employees can work from home part of the time. We don't have the staffing level to do that and keep the department open 5 days a week, which is what is required by the state. So we can't compete with that. In the highway department, we are competing with the private sector. Our rates are below the private sector, but our rates are equivalent to other public employers in that field in the area. Okay, we just looked at their contract. So again, it depends on what you're looking at. Corrections, again, we're losing people to the state. Our rates don't compete with the state for corrections.
So within the last year or two, I know that we fluctuate between like 80 openings and 50 openings.
Mhm.
So my question is, we seem to always be at that number. So, and the county does a great job at what they do. I cannot say anything bad about our employees. We have good staff and everything else. So my question is, we're already doing more with less, right? So in your mind, would it make sense to eliminate positions to take care of the difference in salaries?
No, because it's not sustainable for us to work the way that we're working. And I can tell you that because I myself, again, had 2 vacancies in my department for over a year. Did we make it work? We sure did. Was it difficult? It sure was. Is that a way that our staff could have continued to work for the long term? Absolutely not. I'm gonna tell you, Kyra is gonna tell you the same thing about her staff. Her staff is making it work because they have to and because we have really great employees down there. Is that sustainable for the long term? No, it's not.
Well, we've been doing it for the long term now. That's my point.
How long have we been doing it
Yeah,
with the?
different positions,
So-
not the same, but it's long.
So if you mind, I'll just add to the conversation. I have people work overtime every single week. They're done with that. Their families are done with that. They want them to be home for dinner. They've been doing that for a couple of years now, and they keep asking me, when are we gonna be done? They're looking for other jobs actively. I probably have 20% of my staff that's left looking for other jobs.
Well, my point is, if they had an increase in salary, that would
It's
not,
not about the increase though.
It's the hours that they're working. It's
the hours.
Yeah, it's the quality of life and the sustainability of the way that these people are working. The same thing is happening in corrections. We're mandating overtime in corrections almost every day. We're mandating overtime in our 911 center. Again, that's not a sustainable way for us to do business in the long run. I know we have been doing it, and that's a credit to our employees for doing what they've been doing as long as they have. It is not a long-term solution.
So let me ask you, what's the solution? Why do we have all these vacancies?
Can't find people.
So part of it is gonna be pay rates in some cases. Part of it is this generation that's coming to work. They don't wanna come to work in person. Almost every time we get an inquiry about a position that's available, other than those that it's obvious that you can't do a hybrid work schedule like corrections, that's the first question we get.
It's not just the county though, Daryl. It's, you talk to any employer in this state and they will tell you they're short staffed. So it's not
No.
the county is doing something wrong. This generation doesn't want to work because we hand out too much.
And the other thing is, when they do come to work, they're not here for a long-term career.
It's a different generation.
Right. If you look at statistics for our new workers coming in, and it's not just here at the county, whether they're working in the public sector or the private sector, the average turnaround time for new employees is under 5 years. They're not looking for a long-term career. They're jumping around.
So you really don't see a solution? But that's what I take. Every question I ask, you say, there's no fix. So there's no solution for a problem.
So what is the solution that you think is out there? What is it that you think that we could be doing
Me
better?
personally?
Yeah.
I think a raise in salaries, a better health insurance output, which we should look into trying to save the county money on insurance and I mean, what we have now is good, but I mean, you got co-pays and everything else. When I was at the town of Hunter, our employees had zero co-pays, zero input. And we saved, the first year I was there, $170,000 with what? 15 employees and 20 retirement people.
So here's what I can tell you, all of the collective bargaining agreements that we have negotiated over the term of the last 2 years, we've given significant on-base lump sum payments to them with very generous percentage cost of living adjustments and some adjustment to their steps. In addition to that, we took our 20% employees and our 15% employees with healthcare, and we dropped them to 12.5%. So we've increased wages, we've decreased health insurance costs, and we're still at a 10%. So I hear what you're saying. Again, I can't tell you that that's the solution. If that's the route that the legislature would like to go as we negotiate further.
I'm looking for answers because you're dealing
Me too.
with the people.
Me too.
So if they're not telling you why they're leaving, I don't know what to tell you.
I just told you why they're leaving.
The hybrid work schedule is the biggest thing. She just said that.
That's huge. It's huge.
It's not even.
You can't compete with the state.
You can't-
Nicole, do you have documentation like
Virtually.
how many positions have not been filled, like for a year or more?
So
Like certain departments and what jobs haven't been filled for more than a year?
we could run a report for that. What I'm gonna tell you is, I wouldn't say that there's one specific title that hasn't been filled for a year, but we have titles that have multiple vacancies. So social welfare examiner, caseworker, corrections officer. Here's what I'll tell you. I've had at least 9 corrections officer vacancies over the course of the last 2 years. We have moved from a written multiple choice exam to a training and experience exam online. That's just a questionnaire that basically, as long as you meet the minimum qualifications, you're assigned a 70. And any qualifications that you have above and beyond that increases your score, moves you up the eligible list. It's very easy, right? All you have to do is log in, answer a couple of questions, and you're done. No more sitting down to take a test. So the last training and experience exam we held was in July. I have 9 vacancies. I had 4 candidates sign up for the exam.
Yeah, I'm just thinking if we had like, if this, you could generate a report like that, and then maybe us calling the high school guidance counselors together again, like we've done in the past. That might be a way for them to then go out and perhaps try to recruit kids that might be falling through the cracks, or, you know, set them up on a career path instead of going to college.
I can certainly provide you guys with the titles and how long we've had vacancies in them. Again, it might not be one specific position, but I can tell you that there are certain
Right.
titles where we have continuing vacancies. I can do that.
And you also had a campaign, you've also tried, you put it out on social media, look, there's a correctional officer exam, no more
Yeah, we've
tests,
seen-
you've done that. I mean,
And
We
the
could take
sheriff's
it to-
office has done that as well.
what's that?
Yeah.
The sheriff's office
Yeah,
has done it as
right.
well. They made a
So-
flyer, I mean,
So if that's not successful, I mean, I don't know what the answer is. I mean, what Matt says, you could go to the high schools and,
Just again, the high schools and the colleges and, maybe their counselors. if
so
we
we're
provided
trying
them
to
with
make a
some-
presence there. Again, we are participating at Columbia Greene. We were trying to participate at one in Albany, but it actually filled up too quickly. We are going into the high schools. We're at the Cooksaki one all the time. We are trying. I'm gonna tell you that law enforcement is not a field that anybody wants to go into right now, corrections or sheriffs. Again, I hold the sheriff and the police officer exam every 2 years. The first exam that I ever held when I was here, we had 100 candidates. The last file date is the 16th, which is this Friday. I have 12 candidates. That used to be the most coveted position and the exam that got the highest candidate count.
With, you know what?
I understand what you're saying. I really do. I wish I had the answer because I don't want to continue at a 10% rate. I'm. We are racking our brains. We are trying to think outside the box. Even throwing money at some of these positions hasn't helped. And
The recognition board.
the recognition board, yeah.
Positive.
We are trying to, change the climate of the building. We are trying to show the appreciation that we have for the employees who are working themselves to the bone, trying to keep the business of the county going. And it's not just DSS. I mean, the highway department is doing the same thing. The sheriff's department is doing the same thing. The dispatchers are doing the same thing. It's just not sustainable, but I don't have an answer for you.
So let me ask you one more question,
Sure.
then I'll stop. I promise.
You ask anyone.
So do you do an exit poll when somebody leaves? You say, where are you planning to go? Why are you going there? What could we have done differently? That's all, you do all that.
Have an exit survey with all of those questions on it. And I'm gonna tell you that the two biggest things are the hybrid work schedule and the rates of pay. But you take a county highway worker who's a mechanic, who's making $25 an hour. He was, right? $25 an hour. let's say.
Yeah.
Yep, he went to the state and he's making $7 more an hour. The state, doing the same job.
So in some cases, it does come down to pay.
Yes, but do you know what a $7 an hour raise looks like?
I know, that's why
for
I'm
the
asking the
AFSCME
question.
contract? But no, but do you know what that looks like for the AFSCME contract? Because it's not just one. You have to think about what that looks like in all of the different grades and stuff.
Oh, I understand it, but pretty soon all the grades are gonna be leaving.
Again, one of the things I did say to you at the beginning of this was we can't compete with the state for certain positions and the rates of pay that they have. Highway is one of them, corrections is one of them, and DSS. We can't compete with those.
Yeah, that's-
And for DSS, not only do they have a higher rate of pay, they have a hybrid work schedule.
I mean, that's $7 an hour for one employee, roughly $50 a year, times all those people.
My wife is a correction officer in Ulster County Sheriff's. If they come in on their day off and don't call in on their Monday, double time. So,
We can't do that because we can't
Thank
afford
you.
to have them take off.
Megan is.
We can't afford to have them take off because then I have to mandate overtime for somebody else.
It's also collective bargaining.
And it's
You
like,
know, that's how we sort of.
It's the environment that you guys have to deal with, and it's not good.
and it really is a generational thing. We are definitely seeing it in this generation of worker. The new generation of worker is not anything like you guys have ever seen before. It really isn't.
Unless we adjust, we're not gonna get any.
And sit at home and not have to worry about healthcare.
Well, I can't imagine that we're the only county.
A lot of business sitting in, takes a rear end.
Taking people from the state, taking people from us anyway. I wonder if it's not a good idea to bring this to the NISAC's attention and say, hey, you guys
The worst of it.
need to reach out to the state because they're the ones that are mandating we provide these services. But then on the other side, on the state side, they're taking the people for the state jobs. And we're falling short on the service side.
Not only are they taking our people, they're waiting till we train them. So they're waiting about 2 years until we train them.
So it's time for the state people to get back to work where they belong, instead of this hybrid schedule. People at home.
No argument here.
That's one thing.
That ain't happening.
No argument here.
That probably happened.
That train left the station.
That happened first.
Any other questions about this? And like I said, I am gonna get to the help program, which it has helped, no pun intended. It has helped a little bit, and I'll tell you where they're looking to go with that, but that's gonna be after Maria gives her update. Any other questions for now?
What's the problem with different departments contracting out the help in from other states or whatever? Say, I just use an example, there's many companies that were paying $175,000 for people to stay at home from New York City. And they said, wait a second, I can get a kid from Tennessee for 70,000, and they're happy as heck.
We have
they're
collective
doing this.
bargaining agreements where we can't contract work that can be done by a union employee.
Even if you can't fill the positions.
Wow.
We have an improper practice charge because of something like that.
Do they have no union?
They do not have to join the union, but if the title is covered by the union, even if they don't join it, it's still protected.
Gotta convince the state government to change their ways,
Good luck.
right?
That's right.
They won't even give you a waiver, they require and they mandate the services, but they don't provide the services.
Correct, unfunded,
Funded mandate.
unfunded mandate.
And didn't she also stop
Go
the,
back to them.
put caps on the rates? You can't, no more waivers?
So not no more waivers, but during COVID, they had eliminated the $35,000 cap for retirees so that we could bring back retirees and have them help fill the holes. They've re-implemented the $35,000 cap this
But
year.
there's
We still can do the waivers,
There's a
we can still
possibility.
apply for the waivers.
the bill.
But it's a lot of hoops to jump through. Doesn't mean we're not, and we're utilizing that, but yes, you're right.
Isn't that a 211 waiver?
Yes, the 211. Are you ready?
Thank you for the opportunity to be here. I just wanted to add one quick thing from what Nicole was talking about. Today in the office, we actually received a call from somebody who was interested in a mental health position. Before we could even begin giving them any information, they weren't concerned about rate of pay, they weren't concerned about benefits. They wanted to know if we offered hybrid. And we said, unfortunately, no, not at this time, and they didn't want to hear anymore. They didn't want to hear any more that we had to offer. So that's just an example, piggybacking off of what Nicole is, talking about that we deal with on a day-to-day basis. So I just quickly wanted to go over some of the benefits and what we currently have in place for employees. We are always looking to enrich our benefit packages. And that comes from feedback from our employees, feedback from our retirees, human resources. We truly, truly value all of the feedback that we get from our employees as well as retirees. So as of right now, our health insurance plan that we have is through Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield. Our prescription co-pays are $10, $30, $45. Primary care physician and specialist office visit co-pays are $20. Prior to that, it was $15. And we remained at that rate for at least 5 years. So it was only a $5 increase. For our active plan, we do have mandatory mail order for maintenance prescriptions. Our mail order pharmacy is through Ingenio RX Home Delivery. And we are very happy to announce our retail pharmacies for local refills for our employees as well as retirees has opened. Previously, it was just CVS and Walmart. And if anybody knows what it's like dealing with CVS and Caro, it's very, very frustrating. And we heard the calls.
We know.
We heard the cries. So we've opened that up, which is incredible, to the Jefferson Heights Pharmacy in the Greene Medical Arts Building. It's been phenomenal. So just to put it out there, if somebody is interested in going there, they do have to get the prescription written as a 90-day supply. We have approximately 411 employees enrolled in our active health insurance plan. And over and above that, we have another 401 enrollments, and that consists of spouses and dependent children. We cover dependent children up until the age of 26. One major thing we would like to bring up, January 1st of 2024, we transitioned. There was a transition for our health insurance plan. They went from Empire to Anthem. And we were reassured in our office that this transition was going to be seamless by the insurance carrier, but truthfully, it was anything but. It was a complete nightmare in every aspect for our office. We received phone calls from employees across the board saying they weren't receiving their medications. So it was literally a day-by-day, case-by-case basis of working through with our employees and retirees to get this figured out. It was a massive, massive undertaking. We're just starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel for that. But I just wanted to mention it just in case as legislators you do hear anything, to please have members call us. We are working with them to get this taken care of. So over and above our active health insurance plan, we have for retirees that are either disabled or 65 years of age or older, we have a Medicare Advantage plan. And we have approximately 394 enrollments in that. Our vision is through Blueview Vision. It's also referred to as IMED. We have 1,380 enrollees in that. So that includes employees, retirees, spouses, and dependent children. Our MetLife is our dental programs through MetLife, and we have approximately 393 enrollees. Life insurance we offer through the Hartford. So previously, this was something that was only offered for management. As long as you work 30 hours per week, you were entitled as a manager, elected official for life insurance. The first $50,000 was free of charge. That was on the county. That was a benefit for a manager. So January 1st, we opened that up across the board to all employees. And we actually received a really great response. Completely voluntary, but we got a great response. And right now we have about 173 enrollments in that. So that's something we were very, very excited to announce. One last piece to the life insurance. As a manager, if you're currently enrolled and you truly retire, which means our office receives notification from New York State Retirement System, you are able to carry that life insurance benefit with you into retirement for 10 full years with a dollar value of $17,500. And there is no reduction to that amount. So you get to carry that for 10 full years into retirement. Again, another benefit that we like to make sure is out there for our employees. So the second and last piece to the benefit is our flex spending account. We have 157 enrollments and we have 2 forms. We have a dependent care account. The maximum for that is $5,000 and that's a self-funded account. And the other portion is a medical flex spending. And currently the rate is, the maximum that you could enroll in is $3,200. Each year they do increase it usually by $50. So we're still waiting to see what the 2025 rate is. But that's also another very well-attended program. So the second piece that I wanted to mention is something that Nicole and I are extremely excited to announce. We've been working very, very hard on it, and this is a new program through civil service. So again, we're always trying to engage with the public and figure out ways that make things easier. So we're creating this program online. It's a development of a new program through eGov. It was formerly known as HR Select. And it's a program that will track payroll for all municipalities across the board within Greene County, including county employees, school districts, towns, villages, libraries, and special districts. The process now involves team members manually entering all employment records for municipalities. To keep a tight grasp on the critical and sensitive data entry, we started data entry solely with county employees. And we are so excited to announce we just recently moved to school districts. It's a huge undertaking. So this is a completely online program that will allow all information to be linked and overall make the whole civil service process work smoothly. So for example, other counties have this program in place already. So Nicole and I have looked at the different counties for a sample. And an example of this would be a candidate sees a position they are interested in applying for. So they create an account, fill out an application. The application will electronically be sent to our office. And then from there, the information is sent to the interviewing department head. So we're eliminating the paper and we're trying to go electronic. And we're trying to make the hiring process for that person that much easier. Fees can be processed online. Information from the applications will populate into exam rosters, eligible lists, Canvas letters, and results to the candidate. This program enables HR and civil service with the tools to be able to use an electronic and PDF fillable application, which we have been working on so hard. We get so many calls. People do not want to handwrite an application anymore. They want to fill it out online. This program will allow it. And even better, there's a simple link on the page that will bring them to our Greene government webpage as well. So it opens up the door for so much. So stay tuned. We have a lot more coming with this program. It's just in the beginning stages, but we are very excited. Thank you.
Question for you.
Yeah.
Besides the link, because some people are even too lazy to resource those resources. Is there any way on our website, if they go to employment opportunities, they click on it where we can put a QR code where they just take a picture of it and then it brings them directly to it?
That's a great idea. Absolutely. We're still in the developmental stages with a lot of this, so that's definitely something we can
Yeah, I
bring
would
to the
definitely
table.
ask about it.
So obviously that's gonna enhance your recruitment too.
Yes, and one of the great things about this program is it allows people to sign up for email notifications, and they can tell us the subjects or the titles that they're interested in. So as soon as we have either an opening or an exam, they will get an email notification that says, hey, you were interested in this? Well, it's up right now. Here's the link. Go right to it and you can fill out your application.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
This is
Great
going,
job.
this is gonna be
Thank you.
vital.
Thank you for doing that. That's good.
All right, so the last part that I want to talk about is civil service, and I'm not going to bore you with what civil service does, because I think I've done that a couple of times, and I really want to get down to the HELP program. So initially, the HELP program was touted by the state as a way to help us with our recruitment difficulty in specific public-facing titles. So these were titles in DSS, titles in our dispatch center, and titles in mental health. So those were the initial titles that we had. And that's been going on since 2023, when the state initially put this program out there. It was supposed to go through the end of 2023, and the state expanded it and extended it. So now they opened it up to more titles, but we had to show recruitment difficulty. So for every title that I was requesting early in 2024, I had 4 pieces of documentation that I had to submit. So let's say I did 30 titles, I had to submit 120 pieces of paper to go with it. But we did it, and we got some additional titles approved in March, 10 of them, as a matter of fact. And they didn't have to have the requirement of being in DSS, dispatch, or mental health. I went to a conference in June. State Civil Service was there. They finally admitted that the HELP program was not only to help local agencies, it's to help state civil service, because they are revamping their testing system and they can't put out tests. That's why we're waiting years and years to test for specific titles. They're finally admitting this now. So in the midst of revamping this, they want us to submit all kinds of titles that we don't have an eligible list for the HELP program.
Make this stuff.
You cannot make it up, you can't. So in July, I just submitted another 30 titles. But included in that are promotion titles, because what was not anticipated is that this program more than likely will run at least through December of 2025. But now you have people who would have normally been eligible for a promotion based on a competitive appointment, who won't be, because they won't be competitively appointed yet. So the question was raised to the state again, and their answer was, ask for your promotion title in the non-competitive under the HELP program. So that's what we're doing, because Kyra has titles that she has to fill at a higher level: senior social welfare examiner, senior caseworker. And in order to fill from a non-competitive title to a competitive title, the person would have had to be in the title for 2 years. And I have to offer an open competitive exam along with that. Well, that's not going to work for us, because we can't get the exams ordered and held in a timely manner. So again, just in July, I submitted another 30 titles to the state for the HELP program. The state does not meet as a commission in August, so I expect them to be on the calendar in September. And again, these are titles where we've had recruitment difficulty across the board: public health, sheriff's office, more in DSS. Actually, my own office for the staff that I've just hired. And this is supposed to, again, cut down on provisional appointments. Nobody wants to come here and give up a job that they have when they know they have to test for it and they may not score and be able to keep their job. And we have had that happen recently. So the help program, you're gonna see a big extension of that. I anticipate through the end of 2025. You're probably gonna see most of what was competitive titles move to non-competitive titles in the help program because the state doesn't want to test right now. They are revamping their testing. What is that gonna look like when we're done? They can't tell me.
So,
They cannot tell me. I know that they're gonna move more towards the training and experience exams like I was talking about, where instead of sitting down to take a multiple choice exam, you're gonna log into the state website and you're gonna fill out a questionnaire and they're gonna rate you based on your experience as opposed to sitting down and taking a written exam. They're gonna move more towards that, but again, what this looks like at the end, they are not giving us any idea, other than it's gonna be completely different than what we've seen in the past. Thanks. That's really the information that they've given to us so far. So the help program is what I'm using to help with recruitment. Now, having said that, we are getting quite a few candidates for the social welfare examiner under the help program because they don't have the test. And we changed the qualifications for it as well. You're gonna see a change to qualifications for caseworker coming down. The state, at the state level, is making changes to qualifications for caseworker and how we hire caseworkers. Again, their testing is gonna look very different. And that's being done at the state level and being dropped down to the locals. We're not having a whole lot of say in that.
so question, probably right in front of us, but what is the state trying to accomplish here? I mean, recruitment or what is it?
Equity.
I mean, no, seriously, I
They're in
mean,
the same boat.
Yeah, so.
so they're
the
trying
help-
to,
The help program actually started at the state level.
right, I know that.
Right, so when the locals started complaining, hey, you're taking all of our people because you don't have to test and we still are, they extended the program down. But the state is also having the same kind of recruitment problems with the same titles that we are. So they are looking at what kind of a testing system they can put in place that still complies with the state constitution, which requires merit and fitness.
ones and I'll just say, no, go to work.
Okay,
Okay?
I got it.
No, you're 200 pounds over here, you're not getting this thing.
Help us at all.
No.
You need someone like that, I'll be right there.
Oh, Jesus. For free, right?
For free.
And again, like Patty said earlier, we are not alone in our recruitment difficulty. It's happening at the public sector, it's happening in the private sector. My peers and I all are having the same difficulties. We come together as a group at the conference, we scream and yell at the state, they make promises to us, and then the next year we're making the same complaints, screaming and yelling at the state, and they make the same promises.
And our civil service commission locally can't really change much as far as qualifications that have gotten.
We do the best we can. We have taken quite a few titles and we have not necessarily decreased the qualifications, but we broadened them. So where it used to be that we had titles that absolutely required either a 4 or a 2-year degree, we still say, okay, if you have a 4-year degree or a 2-year degree, but now we're adding high school and experience. Because we're starting to see that sometimes that diploma doesn't mean quite as much as people who are actually in the workforce doing the work.
They do it for 5 years.
Correct. So we're not, like I said, we're not decreasing requirements, we're just making them a little bit broader to widen our pool. Where we can.
So in Kyra's case, where somebody would need to have had 2 years of experience in a position in order to get elevated to a different one, is that something that they're able to do without having 2 years, but maybe they have 1 year of that experience outside of the county?
Yes, promotion qualifications.
So maybe they weren't a title for 2 years, but they have the experience of it.
Yeah.
Those we can do.
But the first responders, whether it's ambulance, COs, deputies, there was just a article I read. And it was one of the generals from the Joint Chiefs of Staff and the head of recruiting. The average person in the United States from 17 to 27 years old, I believe. Less than 30% have what it takes to fill those positions. So basically, us at the county, state, and nationwide in those types of fields, we're all looking for the same 3 out of 10 people.
Correct. That's correct. And that's a lot of the problem that we're having, filling our entry-level law enforcement positions. So we're competing, let's talk about the sheriff's office. We're competing with our local PDs, but we're also competing with all of the counties around us who are recruiting the same people. And I can tell you that I have given 6 physical agility exams over the course of the last year. How many of them passed, Moran? None. None of them were able to pass the physical agility. And everybody's competing for the same candidates.
Point made.
Point made, but somebody's probably hired.
Not us. They got to pass the physical
I
agility.
appreciate that because
Absolutely.
like Mike said, it's not dumbing, we're not dumbing
No, we're
down
not dumbing
to fill a
anything.
position.
Put you in danger if you do that.
Yeah, we're not dumbing down. Again, in the cases where we can, we're broadening so that we can take into account experience, but we are not dumbing down anything.
It's kind of the danger of the whole health program.
It is. And again, there are a lot of things that they didn't think about because they didn't expect the health program to go on as long as it did, or at least they told us that they didn't expect it to go on as long as they did. So as it continues, more and more things are popping up that are problematic with it. And we are, at the local level, we are kind of flying by the seat of our pants, trying to make the necessary changes in order to help our employees continue to progress in their careers while being hired under the health program. It's a lot of thinking outside the box. Any other, I guess this was entertaining. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
You're doing a great job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great job.
Educational and employment. Thank you very, very much. We know it's a hard job.
Thank you.
And as if that wasn't enough, we have the Deputy Director of Human Services, Tammy Pong. I'm going to talk about Senior Day.
Hello. I really don't have too much to say. I wanted to make sure that everyone got their invitation to Senior Day. Okay, it is a month away, a month and a day away. And I sent out the information for the vaccine clinics. Did everyone get that? Okay, so we would love to have you, if you're available, to come to the vaccine clinic in your district, just to kind of show support. And I know that Laura is not here, but I want to really shout out to Public Health because I collaborated with them on this project and they've just been wonderful. I can't think of anything else. Does anybody have any questions about anything human services related? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey,
Tammy, just to thank the staff for all that they're doing.
Yeah.
I actually went to their staff meeting this morning. I saw it was on posted and everybody's doing a fine job, so
Thank
please
you.
relay that message. Appreciate the work that they're doing. I know they're looking for volunteers
Yes.
for meals again, not just Athens, but all towns. And also volunteers and medical drivers.
Yep.
Right? So keep that on there.
Tammy, also thank you for your involvement with the youth fair, the children's,
Yeah,
that talent show and different things you've done.
that was
there.
fun. That's like my favorite part.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for being judges.
The kids enjoyed it too.
Yeah.
okay. All right, we have 3 proposed action items. Number 1, authorizing agreement, Greene County Department of Human Services, Aging and Marquee Home Care.
True.
Yeah.
Nice.
True and Leg. And Handle?
Handle.
Sure.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That is carried. Number 2, authorizing agreement, Greene County Department of Human Services, Aging and Home Helpers of the Hudson Valley.
Rivera?
Oh,
Lavera and Overbach.
I'd like to second that as well, please.
Darrell would like to second that. Okay, and all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That is carried. Authorizing vehicle purchase for the Greene County Department of Humans or Social Services. I'll move that. Anyone have a second?
Lavera?
Rivera.
And just a quick question for Department of Social Services. I know we're doing enterprise leasing. Is social services next to do something maybe, or?
Not for enterprise. Enterprise, right now, we're using just shared vehicles. We're looking at the possibility for highway. I don't know that it would make sense for some of our other departments.
Okay.
That sheriffs and highway are a bit better equipped because there's a lot more variables. With how much usage they get, where we can be a bit more predictable with DSS.
Okay, all right, thanks, Kevin.
Hey, Kevin, is this replacing a vehicle that they have, or this is brand new for them?
Replacing, and usually what we do with DSS, we trip theirs out to other departments, which maybe don't get as much usage. And this vehicle right here, I know they had an accident recently, we're getting that fixed, but there's a push to get this infusion in right now, and that 5-year cycle that we've done with some of our other departments, I know DSS is a bit different. We're starting to see a much better aged fleet, which is helping with some of our maintenance costs, labor, gives our guys at the garage more time to focus on the things that get eroded by salt. Big highway trucks.
I know we've talked about this before, but have our local car dealerships, were they given the opportunity to?
So I have expressed to them numerous times the procurement process in which the government operates and have directed them to where they can sign up on ODS mini bid. It's really no cost, it's more paperwork I do for them. They wouldn't have to bid on other counties. They could just bid on Greene County if they wanted to. They have yet to take the initiative at this point. We would like to see them involved, I certainly think so. They have what we need. Most of the brands that we carry are right here in the county. So if you have any connections there, I continue to ask that you direct them to do so. That would be a huge help.
Not very big discount. Does the state contract bid?
Yes, these are state pricing. Yep.
No, it's great.
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That is carried. Do we have anything else for county services this evening?
Any update on your AI program?
Sure, I'll come up here real quick, because I do have a quick little update on that.
Yep.
So for our AI project, we are having weekly meetings. So as of this morning, there's just so you guys know, there's 5 counties. For the companion piece, which is going to be the chat piece, so you can ask the computer certain questions, administrative directives and state policies, so we can get the work done and get the correct answers. Jefferson and Oswego are up and running, and Greene and Clinton are going next. On the next couple of weeks, we'll have the chat boxes. For the phone, Jefferson is live, and over the weekend, they did a massive dump, and they felt that there was many more questions that Eva, the AI assistant, could answer. So they're redoing the program right now. They're going to a technology called Whisper, which probably Kevin's probably the only one who even knows what Whisper is. But anyhow, so they're looking at that technology. So we're going to be looking at that in the next couple of weeks. And then the R&R, which is the rights and responsibilities. We've been testing that. We have a dashboard. We have a shared mailbox. So Jefferson is live on that. Oswego and Greene, we're going to be launched in the next 2 weeks in that one too. So lots of progress, lots of moving parts, but no data to share specifically yet.
Hire for you and your staff, are a lot of them pretty technology savvy in your staff too, to complement, this type of programming and things like that, or?
So I'm the type of person, if I drop my little box for the TV, I need to get assistance, so no, we're not.
Okay.
Sorry.
This is, appreciate the honesty.
You know, their department specifically combines state and county programs, so it's not just our stuff.
Yeah. I will let you know that and I shared this with the fourth floor. The state has a name for the 5 counties, and guess what they call us?
Redheaded stepchildren.
No, they actually call the 5 counties the Fab Five.
Wow.
Fab Five.
Five.
Yeah, yeah. So I went to the conference in July, and that's what they said. So we truly are building the airplane as we're flying it. So the technology will only get better and better. We were willing to step forward and do this because we needed to do something. And I'll let you know, the staff is very excited. I mean, and they're doing additional work, so we have to continue to test things. And they're volunteering to do that.
Like, to answer your question, the background is very complex. It's just a specialty, but on the front end, it is almost, I would say, a Google interface if you use
Gotcha.
Google or Microsoft, which I think the expectation is in today's office environment, you should know how to use it. Eva is just as easy.
Okay.
So really, you put in your answers in that chat assistant that we've seen, you put in your questions, you see it, think. It's consistent with anything else we've seen, even if you saw chat, GPT, very similar. You tell it, it goes to work. It doesn't take 6 days either, but it's nice.
Yeah, yeah, and that's gonna be nice, because then the phone calls will be answered 24/7.
Sure.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you, Tyra.
We have a first and a second. We are adjourned. We're adjourned.
No, we didn't.
I mean.
Second.
Handle and overbought. We are adjourned. It's never.
Oh, I got those social services. No, I'm gonna, I don't know if I'm going both. I'm going to better.
Are you going to both?
Okay, let's call public
I usually don't go to.
Order at 6:52, and we'll start with the highway superintendent's report.
Good evening. Looking at the agenda, the federal, state and local projects, I will go through the federal and state projects that we have: 4061 Spruceton, 20 Black Cove, Kenru 3. They're still on schedule in various phases of design. We'll go to the ones that are currently in progress. Kenru 1 culvert in the town of Halkett. They just mobilized last Friday. This project, we're hoping to get done in October for the snowflies. I think that's the expectation. It's gonna be a tight schedule, but we really needed to get this done this year. Kenru 23C culvert replacement in the town of Jewett has been completed. That road is open. Kenru 67 culvert replacement in the town of Greenville. We're expecting that to be completed end of September, early October. 61 slope stabilization and road repair. They're currently still developing the draft proposal for us. The Kenru 23B slope stabilization, I think Jefferson Heights, that draft plan should be to us sometime this week. Once we get that plan, we're gonna have to actually evaluate it and then propose it to some of our local construction companies and see what prices they come up with. Hopefully we can get that done this year, but obviously as we get further and further towards winter, it's gonna be difficult. We are in the middle of paving season. We got a majority of our paving done. There are still a few roads that we have remaining. Going along with that.
Nothing striped yet.
No, unfortunately, we generally wait till after the roads are all paved before we stripe.
In cases like that where you had the advantage of getting something done early, Can you like piggyback off, like I saw the state, you paved here like some 9W spots, you didn't do that?
It's exponentially more expensive to get a contractor in to just do a small section, because the cost to mobilize the equipment and personnel is the same to mobilize for 200 miles as it is for 300 feet.
I just didn't know if the state had a guy painting the lines, just, you know, here,
The paint is the key part, right?
yeah.
It's the mobilization of the equipment and the personnel, so it really is, it's one of those things where it's gonna cost us exponentially more to do it. I mean, we could, but there's additional cost to it, so then we'd have to reduce what we do on the back end for total miles.
Do you have a time frame on the painting then?
No matter what, we'll probably do end of next month. Whether we're completed with all the paving or not, just because.
Do you have your list
Once we start pushing list of roads, absolutely,
of where you're striping?
yes.
Okay.
With the paving, you'll definitely see, we're actually a little bit ahead of what we had last year. We're still doing about 27.5 miles of surface treatment. That's about 20 miles of standard paving, the remaining different types of surface treatments. So we're still doing well. Not sure if everyone has seen the comptroller's report on bridges. Greene County, it was listed that we had 18 rated poor bridges. They're not all Greene County owned and maintained. There were 8 listed on the list. One of them was immediately removed from the list because we repaired it last year. The report came out a little after that was completed. Of those 7, 3 of them are going to be replaced between 2025 and 2027. One of them is on hold in the town of Hunter because the firehouse has to be relocated, so we're waiting that. And the other 2 will eventually start to get, just because it's rated 4 doesn't mean it's in danger of collapsing. So it's just a standard that the state uses. New York State is one of the few states that require all their bridges to be inspected every 2 years by a licensed professional engineer. So we do have a very good track record. Greene County is, that comptroller's report came out in 2019 as well. We had 15, now we have 7. So in that amount of time, we
Percentage wise,
it is, and we're making progress. Region 1 DOT, with the additional funding that we've been receiving, we're making steady progress. In the next 4 years, we'll make more progress, but with the cost of construction continually going up, we're still pushing to get additional funding from the state and federal government. Just to maintain the existing infrastructure is getting more and more expensive. These bridges have a certain lifespan. We have to make sure we're trying to maintain those.
maybe we do some remote paving.
And we could see with our paving contractors, I mean, even in the private sector, we're doing paving on County Route 2 today. And we started off with 17 trucks on the project that were supplied by contractors. We were down to 6 at the end of the day because the drivers decided that either they didn't want to travel that far or various reasons. The private sector is having the same problem as we are as far as getting reliable, consistent help. So, which also affects our schedule, which we're trying to push our staff to get roads prepped and ready to go. We're asking them to do a lot more, a lot less. There is going to be a breaking point. On Fridays, we don't have any, we're working 410s currently. On Fridays, we do as much mowing as we possibly can just to keep up with our work. So we're feeling the pressure as well. We have this same amount of work to do every year right now we have 10 vacancies. So we're trying to be more efficient at how we operate, but it's still a struggle to get everything done. So.
What's your retirees look like? You're gonna be losing people?
They look like they're retired.
No, your future retirees.
What do you mean?
How many
Coming
people?
back?
No, how many people in the next couple of years you think are gonna retire?
Yeah, it's not a great outlook. We do have a lot of our most seasoned guys, within 3 to 5 years, we'll lose a majority of them. I don't. it's
Do you
very
have any
difficult.
kind of implementation of a program where you would train, you take lower people and they work side by side with your seasoned employees, so they are brought up to speed, so when they go,
We're
You can say-
continually looking to train our employees with equipment operations. We lost a very seasoned tree trimmer. We're trying to train our new employees. Some don't want to go in the bucket truck and work at those heights. We have free training for CDL. So you come on board, we'll provide you with that trainer and certification. We've done it, lost some after they've got the training. Unfortunately, we're in a difficult spot right now, but it's not just us. There's other towns that are short-staffed that this winter is gonna be an interesting to fully staff. Solid waste, we're still moving forward. The Catskill residential drop-off area is moving. The building is scheduled to arrive any day now, hopefully this week. Once that occurs, you'll see a fairly large building there. Hopefully that'll increase with that residential drop-off area in Catskill. The promotion of recycling. We do have a contract that is gonna be expiring for waste disposal at the end of 2025. We're hoping that Seneca Meadows, the landfill that we currently bring our MSW, will get a permit extension. If that does not happen, we're gonna have to go out to RFP. That outcome is not a very good one. Other areas, other counties have done it, and the expectation is between, $20 to $50 more per ton. Wow. That would be a devastating impact to our tipping fees and our waste disposal. So we're hoping that Seneca gets an extension, and once they get the extension, hopefully, we'd have 3 one-year extensions on our contract with them, so that would.
How many tons you got on a one load?
32.
Between 30.
One
and
load's
35
30,
tons.
how much?
Between 30 and 35.
So you're looking at $20 to $50 times that?
Yep.
Considerable.
Yes.
Gotta pass it up.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I mean,
We'd be about $200 a ton.
That's what's gonna have to happen though.
Yeah. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, you'll see, everybody, instead of coming to the transfer station. On the side of the road, highway guy.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Who determines the extension on the Seneca?
On the permit for Seneca, DEC.
Right. That's a state deal.
Well, there's currently right now, I believe it's between the state, and there are also environmental groups out in that area that are pushing to not have it extended.
Let's get in Mars.
We write a letter of support or?
Yes.
Yes, that would certainly help.
Yes.
I'm not sure how much it would help, but it's.
Right, I mean,
Anything
just say that.
No, we should do.
I just don't think, I don't think that the state as a whole quite understands what will happen to all the waste in New York State if these large landfills close. Yes, we should promote recycling and alternate, but
Right.
the need for these landfills, there aren't any other options. I mean, for all the years that we've been disposing materials, burying it in the ground is the best we have so far. All the other ones have been shut down. Down south, the burn plants are being shut down. Yes, we're promoting composting, we're promoting recycling.
We are reducing our waste.
Yes, reducing the waste is the #1 goal, but at the end of the day, we're still gonna produce a considerable amount and.
Actually, we are not reducing our waste. Our waste goes up every year. New York State had a plan to reduce waste and we're probably double what that goal was right now.
I
Well,
will
we're
say,
promoting recycling, we're promoting composting.
I was just down
What
100.
more can we do?
Yeah, we're actually bringing waste in from carriers. We're not, it's not necessarily us that's increasing waste. We're bringing it here because our tipping fee is lower as part of it.
And I was down 100 today, and the composting is going very well. They're taking in a lot of material and producing quite a bit of output, so that's working out very well.
Patty, good.
Thank you. Any other?
Is that so, are you still on schedule for the residential? What's that, like October to be done by, or
Oh. Or
the residential drop off?
Yeah, we're shooting for the first week of October to be up and running.
with the residential drop-off area. The current budget, we're well under our current budget, which will allow us, there are definitely things that we've found at the Casco Transfer Station. The tipping floor, we've discussed multiple times. This is an opportunity to do a expansion of services to do the tipping fee. The lights, 95% of the lights in our current building are not working. This is a chance to upgrade them to LEDs, be more efficient and actually functioning.
Is Keller doing the concrete work at that site, or are they subbing that out?
They're doing the work, they're doing the concrete work.
That's all that.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, the building, the structural steel is gonna be done by a
Right.
subcontractor.
So how would you rate their concrete work? Pretty good?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I mean, you're gonna be doing a tipping floor potentially, I mean.
Correct.
You wanna have someone who's
Yes.
pretty knowledgeable. Okay.
As well as, because we're doing the residential drop-off area, we're proposing to do additional paving. To do that whole area as paving, not just piecemeal it, so it's.
What out past the scale?
Correct.
Okay.
Should be safer for the patrons when they come in now.
Yeah, it's gonna, I mean, that's the goal, the biggest thing with the cluster of.
Oh, yeah, I drove
People
through there,
came in.
you know, it used to be the little, I call it the phone booth, you know, you'd have the guy there and then there was cars all over.
Exactly, this is,
Traffic coming in.
we have delineated parking spots that you can come in and unload your material from your vehicles.
We're gonna go from 3 spots to 20.
So that free-for-all that used to be there is gonna be eliminated. And that was really one of the biggest downfalls for people actually coming to the transfer station, is how busy it was and how chaotic it was.
Yeah, you park in.
Right,
Yeah, no, I went there one time, I was just like, wow.
so hopefully with this new station, it'll promote more recycling. At least source separated.
Quick question for you. So the foreman on the other side, highway. Those guys all have CDLs?
Yeah.
So in a snowstorm, they can man a truck too and go plow? Guess what I'm getting at, if you have people and you need people, however many foremen you got. It can still be a shaker, baker and candlestick maker, right?
Correct.
Okay.
We're in with a union contract?
Gonna say, depends on. Certain things. So you can't put foreman in a truck without offering it to everybody. So even if you're talking about just the affluent building, the affluent the affluent foreman can't get in that truck until it's offered to every other lower level employee and they turn it down, including in the valley. Again, it's like the bargaining agreement.
Do you have any trucks that don't require CDL? I know like the town of Hunter has a couple that.
Smaller.
No, not 1 ton. They have single axle dump trucks that don't require CDL that.
No, anything over 26,000 pound requires.
Yeah, but I'm saying they do have trucks that have plows and wings on them that they're not required to have CDLs.
Not that I'm, it's a weight class, right? So the
Right.
trucks, we don't have any trucks
No,
besides the
no,
one.
I'm saying you don't then.
We do not. The 1 tons are the only ones that we wouldn't require, and the pickup trucks. But they would, I mean, we've tried that and they get destroyed.
Yeah.
Yeah, our roads are too
Part
long, right, exactly.
Not so much.
No, but what I'm saying is that they do have them on the mountain that they use. That might be a,
Yeah, some of the town, I've seen some of the towns use those smaller trucks, but they're suited for villages and. Our county roads are too long. To try to use those. We've, like I said, we tried to use a 1 ton dump truck on County Route 6 and it loaded it up pretty good.
thank you.
Thanks, Scott.
Okay, moving on to proposed action items. Number 1, authorizing implementation and funding of cost of 100% of the cost of a transportation project which may be eligible for federal aid and or state aid or reimbursement for Bridge New York funds. Martinez and Legs. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Number 2, a resolution authorizing the implementation and funding in the first instance, 100% of the federal aid and state Marchicelli program aid eligible cost of a transportation federal aid project and appropriating funds therefore.
Village.
Handle Village, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Number 3, awarding bid for propane.
Martinez.
Martinez and Handle. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Anything else come before Public Works?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Handle and Hobart?